Chapter 1.
Cairo. Monica noticed the gift shop because of the beautiful colors round its door and window. She walked through its entrance, which had a sign above it. On the sign, the word Cairo was written in bright yellow, orange, and green colors, with small black figures dancing beside it. Inside, it was just as colorful. Large animals made of paper, painted in very bright colors, hung from the ceiling. The floor had a yellow-brown sand color to it, and the shelves held vases, plates, boxes, musical instruments, and jewelry Monica had never seen before. No one seemed to be in the shop. Not a salesperson or a customer. Light Arab music came from a stereo Monica could not see, but she moved with its sound as she looked at all the wonderful objects in the shop. She saw a blue stone on a gold necklace which looked interesting. Drawn in the center of the stone, there was something which looked like a large round beetle, with thin legs and thick antennae coming from its head.
It's an Egyptian scarab.
The woman's voice surprised, then frightened Monica. She almost dropped the necklace.
I'm sorry. I didn't know anyone was here.
It's okay, my dear. I knew you would be here. Come.
The woman took Monica's arm and led her behind the sales counter to a small area where there was a round table and 2 chairs. It was dark because cloth the color of sand with dark patterns hung from the walls and ceilings. It was almost closed off from the rest of the shop by a curtain, so most of the light came from a few candles set around the room. It was like a small cave from somewhere far away.
Sit. I've made us some tea. Black tea. The tea of judgment.
Judgment?
Yes. The tea leaves tell us about a person's entire life. Some of us have done things we wish we hadn't. Some of us haven't done things we wish we had. Some of us are messengers. Some of us are waiting for the message.
The woman wore a piece of red cloth tied around her head. It hid the color of her hair. Her eyes were large and dark. They became larger when she talked. As Monica sat at the table, she realized she still had the necklace in her hand.
This stone is quite beautiful. I've never seen anything like it.
It is lapis lazuli, the ancient blue stone used to make statues for the gods. It was found in rock, and the rock had to be burned and broken to get the lapis lazuli out. That shows you how strong it is.
Well, I'm sure it's too expensive for me.
As Monica was about to put the necklace on the table, the woman closed her hand around Monica's to keep the stone there.
Don't let it go, now that you have it. It may help you see things you never thought were possible.
But I...
The woman put her finger on Monica's lips so that she couldn't talk.
Sit and listen, and I will tell you the story of the blue scarab.
Monica held the necklace in her hand while the woman spoke. Whether it was the heat of the room, the tea, or the woman's soft voice, Monica began to fall asleep.
The scarab is the sacred beetle of the sun god. The most important of all the gods, as it makes people see things in a different way. It is given to a different person every 100 years. The person is chosen by the sun god to act as a messenger for the dead. They see and understand things on earth that help the gods decide whether the dead have lived good or bad lives. Those who wear it are sometimes frightened because they are able to see the dead living again. But they must keep the scarab, as the judgment of so many depends on them.
Monica heard the woman's words as she slept. She saw herself living thousands of years ago, wearing the scarab. People were touching her hand as she passed them. She was smiling, and she felt very peaceful. When she opened her eyes, she looked at the woman talking to her.
It looks good on you.
Monica touched the necklace with her fingers. It was now round her neck.
Chapter 2.
Herbie. Monica's car had a broken headlight. As she drove to a garage to have it fixed, the sun came down through the trees along the road, making everything seem more alive than usual. There was an old man cleaning the ground in front of the garage when Monica parked her car. He had his back to her, so she called to him.
Excuse me, do you work here?
The man did not turn round.
Excuse me.
Monica put her hand on the man's shoulder. He turned quickly, and Monica saw her father's face. Frightened, she put her hands over her mouth. Her father had died 5 years earlier when she was 18.
Dad! Is that you?
Tears came to her eyes, and her hands shook. The man moved his fingers to his mouth and ears to show her he could not speak or hear.
Hello there.
It was the voice of a young man Monica knew from the university. She had forgotten his name.
It's Owen, remember? We met at a party last winter.
Oh, yes. I'm Monica.
I suppose you've met Herbie. He just started working here this morning.
Monica wouldn't look at the man, afraid of what she would see. He was talking to Owen in sign language. Owen spoke as he made the signs with his fingers.
Of course you can. I told you, Mr. Burns lets us take our lunch whenever we want, as long as you've finished your work. Okay, you're welcome.
Herbie walked away. Suddenly, Owen noticed Monica's necklace.
Is that a blue scarab you're wearing?
Yes, a woman at a shop gave it to me. She wouldn't take any money for it.
It was found in a chest believed to be the chest of Osiris, an ancient Egyptian god. I read about it in my class on ancient Egypt. I study archaeology.
I think I saw you leaving that class once. I had an economics class right after it in the same room.
It's a small world. So, what's wrong with your car?
Oh, it needs a new headlight.
Oh, that's no problem. I can fix that in 10 minutes. Why don't you go sit in the office? While you wait, Mr. Burns will write out your bill.
In the office next to the garage, Mr. Burns sat behind his desk, smoking a cigar. He was a short, bald man, but Monica didn't know how short until he stood up to shake her hand.
Nathan Burns, pleased to meet you.
Monica Holloway. Owen's fixing my headlight. He said you write up the papers.
Certainly I will. You just have a seat there. I'll take care of it in 2 minutes.
Monica looked out of the office window at Owen working on her car. His thin, young face began to look old and tired. It was as if she was looking at a completely different man, and it frightened her. Mr. Burns' voice stopped her thinking.
How do you spell Holloway? With 2 L's or 1?
What? Oh, 2. Halloway.
Monica went outside to see Owen as he finished his work on her car. He looked like he usually did, and Monica forgot about what she thought she had seen before. She shook his hand.
Thank you very much for your help.
Anytime. It was nice to see you again.
When Owen walked away, Monica saw Herbie sitting on a chair by the garage door. He was eating a sandwich. She saw something on his right arm. It was a purple birthmark, the same kind her father had.
It is you. I knew it.
She took a few steps towards Herbie, but she frightened him. He got up and went into the garage. When she followed him inside, she saw that he had gone.
Chapter 3.
Tops. Monica stood outside Tops, a popular student hangout, waiting for her friend Yvonne. A small dog ran up to her very excitedly. It looked exactly like a dog she had when she was young. It had the same short black fur and white nose. Its nose had 4 black spots on it. The only thing different was its collar.
Oh, Popeye! Is that you?
She picked the dog up to let it kiss her face, the way it used to. She was sure it was her dog Popeye, even though he had died when she was 12. The look in his eyes and the sound of his bark was so familiar to her. As she held the dog in her arms, a young boy pulled at her jacket.
Excuse me, miss. Can I have my dog back, please?
Oh, is this yours? I thought... I mean, of course you can.
As Monica gave the boy the dog, it began to bark wildly. The boy tried to keep it quiet, but it tried to jump out of his arms. He carried the dog away, but Monica could hear its barking all the way down the street. When Yvonne arrived, Monica was crying.
Oh, you'll never believe what's happening to me. Let's go inside. I need to sit down.
Monica told Yvonne all about the necklace, about Herbie, about the dog.
Monica, you really don't believe all that, do you? It was a mistake. The old man probably just looked like your father. You said yourself he couldn't talk. And the dog, many dogs look the same.
But it was so real, Yvonne. Or maybe I just wanted to believe it was real.
Look, if you don't stop this, you'll get yourself into trouble. It was a mistake. You saw something which wasn't there.
Yvonne was able to make Monica relax. They ordered their pizza and began to talk about other things when Monica saw Owen across the room.
Now don't tell me I don't see him. That's the guy who fixed my car.
Owen saw them looking over at him, and he waved hello. He walked over and sat with them.
I'm glad I found you.
Owen, this is Yvonne.
Pleased to meet you. Look, I've read more about your blue scarab.
Wait a minute. I've just finished telling her that there is no such thing as ghosts or sun gods, or whatever else you want to tell her.
Yvonne, let him finish.
The ancient Egyptians believed that Osiris, the sun god's helper, used that stone so that people on earth could help those who had died. They thought dead people had to go through a trial. In that trial, they had to show that the good things they had done on earth were greater than the bad things. Their actions could help the living improve themselves by teaching them something. If the living learn something valuable from the life of someone else, who is now dead, they can continue living their lives in a better way. This is good for the living, but also for the dead. The gods will see that the dead had lived good lives, since they continue influencing the living in a positive way.
Oh, and that was thousands of years ago.
Wait a minute, Yvonne. Let's just try to understand this. Do you think I could have seen a dead person alive again?
I don't know about that, but I know someone who does, and he'd like to meet you. His name is Professor Lloyd. He taught that class on ancient Egypt I told you about. Would you like to talk to him?
Why not? This is mad.
Monica was silent for a few minutes, because she was thinking of her father. she finally asked Owen about Herbie.
Who's that old man who's working at the garage? What's his name? Herbie.
Yeah, Herbie. Strange, but right after you left, we couldn't find him. He never came back.